In Guild Wars 2, gold makes Tyria go round. Almost everything can be bought and sold off of the trading post, and it's quite a lot. But many of the more advanced gold making strategies require either other expansions or content that's not included with the core game. And that's not necessarily conducive to some of the newer players who haven't really jumped into the expansions themselves or the other DLC. In this video, I'm going to look at ways that you can make gold in-game without any of the extra DLC or expansions. Simply the core game and what Tyria has to offer. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Guild Wars 2 content. Alright, so one of the first things, of course, and this is going to sound very reminiscent to the video that I had last week, but that is your Wizard's Vault, your daily and weekly Wizard's Vault. It is a system that is basically a gift to the players. You just do a couple of activities and there you go. You complete the dailies, you earn the Astral Acclaim. Now, but the idea here is that the Astral Acclaim, that's where your real money is. In the vault, you can trade Astral Acclaim, of course, for all sorts of other valuable goodies, but for like pure profit, if you're looking to make gold really in this game, you're going to be looking at the Mystic Coins, which are usually always in high demand for higher end crafting across the board, and the straight up bags of gold, either the discounted ones, which are in limited quantity, or even the unlimited ones that are a little bit more expensive. You can also grab laurels, which then can easily be converted into valuable crafting materials, really at any laurel vendor. This is also very helpful, by the way, if you are looking to craft any kind of like legendary gear, because you need either gifts of might and magic or gifts of condensed might and magic. That helps out there here too. On top of course, the dailies where you go in and you view a vista and you complete a small achievement or a renowned heart. You're going to be also looking at the weeklies. Now, I've made a very big comment that the weeklies are where the real money is as far as earning your Astral Acclaim. Completing each one of the weekly events gives you 50 Astral Acclaim, and then when you complete all of the weekly events that you need to, all 6 of them, you get another 450 Astral Acclaim. Just by playing the game and ticking these little objectives off, you're building that solid income that you can exchange off of the Wizard's Vault fairly easy with very little effort. And honestly, just in my suggestion, I find that if you're just trying to do these as quickly as possible, you stick with one game mode. I know quite a few people who just do PvE. I know quite a few people who do just PvP. I like to do them all just so I have a well-rounded world versus world PvE or PvP kind of like daily tasks. But find what works best for you. And this is kind of like your financial foundation. This is where you start. Now, of course, if we're doing any kind of like gold farming or anything like that, alt parking is not too far off. And again, this is very similar to what the daily objectives video that I did last week, where we are talking about parking alts in very good places that either offer daily chests or have some kind of resource nodes that's good to go. A lot of those places that I talked about last week are focused on expansions in DLC. One of your best spots, one of the #1 spots, is at the end of jumping puzzles, and they usually have a magnificent chest. For example, the one right here in Lion's Arch, Wendat's Revenge puzzle, is a great example. I mean, once you struggle all the way to the end, it's not that bad, but a little bit of a struggle. Just leave your character there by the chest. Every day you log in, you can grab the loot and gear, and you could salvage or sell it, and then you're done. It's fairly quickly, and you get a little bit of profit. Another fantastic option, if you are more along the lines of resource nodes, is rich iron or platinum nodes that spawn basically in the same spots every day. They're usually like tucked away in a small corner. You just park an alt on top of it and you're guaranteed a haul of valuable materials. Now, I will say if you have a crafter that you can go ahead and spin that around or forge the ingots, for example, for any of the resource nodes that you find, that usually works out a little bit better. They're worth a little bit more in that regard. However, in my experience, I found out that it's the mid-tier resource nodes that are usually a little bit more profitable than, say, for example, like mithril ore or even like the elder wood, just because they are available basically in every end game expansion area, and that's like, oh, that's the main currency that you get from gathering those resources. The real key here is the volume. If you only have one parked alt, like it's a little bit and it's not bad. But if you have like 5 of them, it's very quick, logging in and out, getting the resources that you need, and then popping out. I've included a link to the Fast Farming community website, as this is something that I actually even only recently discovered. They have a list of profitable alt parking spots. You can just find a place for your characters that you're not using. Now, one of the most fun ones, and this is one that I've done for a while, and that is the World Boss Train. You don't have to make gold like this lonely job. And honestly, you just hop into these huge metas where dozens, sometimes hundreds of players are teaming up to take down giant bosses that spawn, and it's on a fixed schedule. Like every 10 to 15 minutes, there's a new one. You'll often see commanders running boss trains where they have their tags open and they're leading the massive squad from one boss to the next. Your job is simple. Show up, follow the tag, hit the boss a couple times, and that's it. There you go. This crazy effort that you're putting into. You'll get a bunch of materials, you'll get gear, and sometimes even rare items. The big bosses that I'd like to pay attention to are like Tequatl the Sunless, which is considered one of the harder bosses, but every day that's guaranteed at least a gold piece, along with a chance for ascended gear and a whole bunch of other stuff. Really, really good rewards. And the gold here really comes from the act of salvaging, honestly. You'll get a constant stream of unidentified gear, you open it, you salvage it, and there you go. You have piles of crafting materials that you could always just sell straight to the trading post. You also rack up a bunch of spirit shards, which is a currency that you can use to profit in a bunch of ways later on. Personally, I find spirit shards, it's more important that I hold these and use these whenever I'm making a legendary, but that's just me. To find out where the next bosses happen, I've included a link to the Guild Wars 2 meta event chain that happens, and it shows you exactly what events are happening, where, and how you can get there. So you can just go to that specific area somewhere around Tyria, show up, with some damage and get some gear. It's all really low stress. It's a social way of farming, and it basically requires zero in-game knowledge. You just go in there, zerg, and get rich, you know? So the next two really focus, of course, on what I would say is just a common, we'll say, farming method, and that's going to be the daily crafting as well as the home instances. Daily crafting does require you to have higher level crafting levels on a couple of different characters, or maybe just one character if you've done it this way. The main idea here is that you craft some of the more profitable ones that are like the usual high level materials, like a lump of mythilium, I'm saying that wrong again, a spool of silk weaving thread, or a glob of elder spirit residue. These all make the ascended gear, which is one of the top tiers of pieces of equipment in game. So there's always an artificial demand that is included with that because you can only make one of those a day, just one of them a day. The daily crafting really is just a couple of seconds, and it can make some good gold, even if you're buying all the materials straight from the trading post and then just turning the profit. So you create the items after purchasing all the requirements from the trading post, and then you turn it into a bit of gold. It's actually very quick. Talking about some farming, we're looking at the home instances and guild halls. Every major city has a personal home instance for your character that you can add resource nodes for daily gathering. Fully upgrading your home instance on your own is pretty expensive. I'm not going to lie to you, it's very expensive. But there is a trick. You don't really have to. Just check the looking for group tool and you'll almost always find someone advertising their full home instance open to the public. You can join their party, go in and just completely mine and harvest and log everything that they have there. It's like 5 minutes, but you get a ton of materials. A full run can net you quite a bit of gold of materials and practically no effort, like you're just running around. Similarly, if you're in a guild, you can just hop into the guild halls and go to the synthesizer gathering nodes, which are all over the place. And again, as I stressed last week, if you have multiple guilds and their halls, you have a bunch of different synthesizers levels. You can farm the nodes in each of the halls once per day, adding a whole bunch of daily materials to your hall. This is pure, this is easy, and it should be something that you're doing almost every single day when you log in. Now, when you got some time for active farming, there are a couple of ways that you can do this. One such way is going to the Silverwastes. This map is home to some of the more consistent and profitable gold farms in the core game, the RIBA farm. RIBA is an acronym for red, indigo, blue, and amber, the 4 forts that are here on the map that you kind of have to defend in a loop. You find a squad, you find a group of people who are doing it, and you follow the commander's tag in a big circle around the map, defending each fort one after the other. This non-stop loop of events showers you with a whole bunch of loot bags. You get a bunch of currencies called bandit crests. It's great. And after the main defense phase, a final boss event kicks off, and then you got to go and kill them. And once it's down, the map turns into a huge treasure hunt where everyone's using the bandit skeleton keys to open a bunch of lost bandit chests. The amount of loot that you get is crazy. You'll be just drowning in unidentified gear to salvage. Champion bags that can be opened and materials to be sold. A focused hour in Silverwastes can easily pull a bunch of gold. You can use the bandit crests that you earn to buy more keys, or even better, to buy sandy bags of gear for even more items to salvage. If you have an hour or two to just grind, the RIBA train is a fantastic way to go for core players, absolutely. And lastly, one that does take some time and it does take some effort, and you do need to have the gear for it, but its end product is without a doubt fantastic, and that is Fractals of the Mists. Going through your fractals and specifically targeting the daily fractals that you have to do, they offer quite a bit of resources. They offer quite a bit of gold for very little time, very little time. And especially with the fractal quick play option going on right now, even just doing the tier 1, level 1 fractals in that beta it's still super profitable. You're still making a bunch of gold. Now, the big trick is once you actually get into the tier 4 fractal. The tier 4 fractals end up being one of the most profitable that you can do for very little time, and it's on a daily occurrence. The only thing that I will say with those is that you must have ascended level gear with the appropriate amount of agony infusions. For those higher tier fractals, that starts somewhere in about like tier 2, you start stacking agony. Agony is a damage over time effect. Every time that you take damage in any of the fractals, it deals a percentage of your max health. The idea is that the higher tier of the fractal you get into, the more damage this agony does. To counter it, you use the agony infusions that you slot into ascended or legendary gear. So exotic isn't going to cut it at that point. You need to have the best gear that you can get. And of course, there's a number of different ways that you can get ascended gear, of course, but the idea is that if you can slip in and do your daily fractals, and especially tier 4 fractals, you can make very good gold very quickly with very little effort. It's a highly 10 for 10, highly recommend. And those are some of the best routines that you can do for the core players to make gold. And it's kind of like a system that builds on itself. Again, I go into the idea of building your daily login objectives, like what you have to get done and how quickly you can get it finished. Following this routine, it should produce a good amount of gold, and you're not going to be just scraping by anymore. Playing Guild Wars 2 does not mean that you have to be a poor player. You have the tools that are built in there. All it takes is a little bit of effort and a consistent routine, and you'll make gold. If this helped you out, do me a solid and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more Guild Wars 2. If you are overloaded with items in your inventory, one of the best things that you can do is maintaining a clean inventory. And you can click this video here to learn all the little tips and tricks that you can do to make sure that you're managing that appropriately. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.